So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you out there, no matter which part of the world you are at. But otherwise, I am delightful to introduce Ines Anna Tomic. And what she is I found her a couple of years ago, and we've been trying to connect with each other. And it just so happened we met each other physically in the UK this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, Cardiff.
Yeah, Cardiff. That's right. That's right. And yeah, so it's amazing to connect with people all over the world. But let me just speak about and introduce in terms of who Ines is for those of you that don't know who she is. So Ines at the moment is in Croatia. Is that correct?
Yeah, Croatia.
Yeah,
Europe.
Croatia. And she's had many years of teaching experience. So she's actually a music pedagogue. She's received many awards, and some of it are from the Ministry of Education as well as the Croatian Music and Dance Teachers Association. Now, many of us students were taught up to a competition level, where many of them ended up becoming professional violinists themselves. Now, besides teaching, Ines is also a jury member of competitions and also a mentor for academy students as well as a teacher trainer. So she holds lectures as well as master classes for violin students as well as teachers. And she is an author of different book titles. But one of it, which is what we are going to talk about today, is her Pizzicato Method. I'm just going to share in terms of what they look like, because I think they're really amazing. What caught my attention is how they look like. So her books are amazing. What I liked about it is the way that she designed it. And the way that she designed it, it's very children friendly. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. See it in a flash. I don't need to take the screen up. So if you look at it, it's very straightforward. It's straightforward, it's simple, and it's eye-catching. And that's what you want to do with kids.
This is book one. And as I told you, I don't have book two, of course. No living author has all his books. This is book three, shiny one. And also the same set of books for viola. Amazingly, I do have book one for viola.
Okay, so that means you have books for violin as well as viola, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I found a page. Those of you that want to take a look at it later, I will send the link after our session. But she's got many, you guys can check it out. But if you look design my books as well, is it needs to be eye-catching for the child to want to do it. And if you notice, the characters are really cute, so it's amazing of how she's designed it as well. All right, Ines, is there anything you want to that you want to say about your books when people ask what is a Pizzicato method?
Well, as you already mentioned, the first most important moment is that when children sees the book, likes it, and wants to use it. I grew up in Croatia, and we had this old Russian method and old Hungarian method, which is great, which is maybe the best in the world. But the books were black and white, no pictures, children didn't like them. So that was one of the first things that I thought it's important for my books to be vibrant, to look appealing for children.
Before we go into the details, what made you write your Pizzicato method?
Well, here in Croatia, we didn't have any textbooks. I mean, we have music schools that are part of a public school system. It's great. It's a great system. I know you all envy us, and we are so proud that we do have it. But although we are a part of public school systems, we didn't have any textbooks for violin. So we were combining, Hungarian school, Russian school, some other beginning schools. And it can be confusing, when you combine many different methods, as much as they are great and successful, like Suzuki or something else. But when you combine them all together, it can be confusing, not only for children, for students, but also for teachers. I was one of them. I was really confused, and I was lucky to have a really great teacher in when I was a student, and later when I started working as a teacher, I also had this amazing mentor besides me who helped me a lot. But we missed, some literature. Yeah. Okay. We were missing some literature. So I started to put some things together for myself, to make things easy for myself. And it worked. I was pretty satisfied. So I thought maybe I could share it with my colleagues who also are lacking this kind of literature. And they're
And I bet
lucky
it's
to
set with
also.
pieces of paper here and there, isn't it?
Yeah, and sometimes you cut pieces and stick it and the other one, and then they lose it.
Yes,
You start all
exactly.
over
And you're like,
again.
oh, is it this page first
Yeah,
or is it that page first?
exactly. And then one colleague told me, so why don't you print a book? You put it on the stand and flip it.
And then
I
they have no excuse to lose the piece of paper
Yeah, parents will have to buy a
to
new
buy the
one.
book as well. Yeah.
And that is a problem. So I did it, it was hard at first to find a publisher because, violin pedagogy is such a small niche, non-profitable at all. So it was really hard at first. But since it is under Ministry of Education and it is important that all subjects in schools have textbooks, so we found a publisher, and that's how it started.
Also,
It
you were
was,
lucky to find a publisher because
yeah,
like for myself, when I published, like who knows Lorraine, like she's never published any books before. Why do we
exactly,
need to
yeah,
invest with her,
yeah,
And then I had to put a lot of money upfront to print my own books. So I became
mhm,
self-published
mhm.
before companies were like, oh, okay, these books are actually doing really well. But yeah, when you first publish a book, it's quite tricky to find a publisher unless
It
people
is.
know you.
But it was such an amazing experience for me in this process of my first book. First of all, I was so proud, I was so proud of myself. Oh my God, I published a book. Second of all, my colleague, it got really good critics, and it was flattering, But also, this whole process of making a book, publishing a book, was really interesting to me. Later on, I also self-published some books, and there's pros and cons when you have a publisher and when you're self-publishing author. But I like this whole process, and now I'm addicted. You know what I'm talking about.
You're addicted. I'm done with 23 books. That's too much.
Oh, you are? Okay. Okay,
No,
I'm not
it's
near.
it's more of the deadline. The deadline is what gets me. Because like I started with
Oh, you don't
like
get the most productive. It's
no,
deadline.
that's right. That's right. So I started with just the violin books, and then I found out that that the lacking is viola books and cello books. And as a conductor, you need those as well
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you can't just help the violin players. What about the viola
yeah.
players and the cello players? And then the last couple of years, all these teachers are like, Lorraine, you got to publish a double bass book. So I was like,
Mm,
okay, fine, and then setting a
yeah.
deadline and things like that. It's
Well,
tricky,
it's
but
stressful.
like you
Yeah,
said, it is. But like you said, it's rewarding at the end of the day. You see your
yeah,
product, it's like, oh
yeah,
wow, and it makes a
yeah,
lot of difference with the students that are doing it. So it's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, Ines,
indeed.
tell us about your book.
So, uh,
Let's start with book one. So I'm assuming you
let's
started
start
off
with book.
with
Yeah. Well,
you started off with designing for violins
it's
first, right?
partly interactive, sort to say, because children can draw, children can write, and it starts with some theory pieces, because here in Croatia we do have solfege. Students have 2 lessons a week of solfege and 2 lessons of individual classes of instrument. Yeah. But until they start to learn notes and everything from theory that we already need at beginning, it's almost Christmas. So we start with some music notes and open strings and music alphabet and some rhythm, the most important things to start playing.
Yes,
So
the thing about like what I like of what you said is the
Mhm.
importance of theory, because I find a lot of teachers don't see the importance of theory, and it's because of the thought process of theory is boring that they grew up with.
Mhm.
So I want
I
to
think
just
you
say
can't
it out
play
there.
without knowing
No,
the
that's right.
theory.
So I
Yeah.
want to put it out there for you teachers. Like I know you may grew up, in a very traditional, boring way where theory to you seems very boring and dull. But there's a lot of books out there, like Ines's books has theory in it, and my books, as you guys have seen my
Yeah,
books, are
I'm
music
very
theory
lucky
too.
because that boring part some other teachers do for me.
Yeah, but
I'm so
your books are not
thankful.
so
No,
boring, you know.
I'm joking. It's not boring. It's really
Yeah,
important.
it
It's really
is.
important, and we are very lucky to have this, solfege, and that the children come prepared to us.
Yeah,
They already know notes, accidents, accident, and rhythm. We don't have
yeah.
to do that at our instrument lessons with them. But it depends, of course, of the school system. So I understand that some teachers in such a small period of time on their lesson don't want to spare some time for theory, but it is so important. But
The
as
thing
I
is, it
said,
makes a lot of difference
of
because when I
course.
moved to Australia, like the whole concept in Australia is majority of the teachers just teach instruments. So I thought,
Mhm,
okay, I'll try it that way, right? And
mhm.
the growth or the improvement of the students was so slow, and I thought, let me just go back to what I'm used to back in my country, Malaysia, where we include theory as part of the component. So I
Mhm,
included theory. And
mhm.
man, it makes a lot of difference. Kids
Yeah,
improve faster. They can make the
yeah,
connections between what they know on paper
yeah,
to
of
what,
course.
the instrument as well. So it
Yeah,
does help progress in terms of how they
yeah,
speed
of
up their
course.
learning on the instrument.
Yeah. So I think it's important to start with that. But the reason why my method is called Pizzicato Method is because I start with nursery rhymes. Pizzicato nursery rhymes. I think it's a really great philosophy because every child knows some nursery rhyme. It's so
What
natural for
kind of
them.
nursery rhymes do you have? Like, do you have a PDF that you want to share so that we can
Uh,
take a closer look?
okay. Let me find some. Yeah, of course. They all know. But the other important thing is that while they are, let me just open this. Okay. While they're playing pizzicato nursery rhymes, they connect with their instrument. They learn proper posture of the instrument, and they'll learn very easily, right elbow level, crossing the strings.
Yep, the movement of the elbow across the
One very
strings.
important technical element, we do it like this. Okay, I found it. Let me share this with you. Share screen. Okay, where it is. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, can you see it? Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger by the toe, Or ring a roses, a bucket full of posies. So these are, nursery rhymes in English. Of course, I started with the Croatian nursery rhymes. And I like this part because it's very spontaneous for children. They are connected with something familiar to them. And my whole teaching process is based on this philosophy, from the known to the unknown. After that, we have some bow arm games with stick, with balloons. You know, the point is to make all the fingers independent, and to relax, and to put them on the right places in some spontaneous way for children, you know, again, from the known to the unknown.
Yeah. Okay,
I
so
start
what would you say your favorite part of book one is?
maybe this the beginning, you know, when children are so enchanted still, you know, they're enchanted with a new instrument. And I think this approach is really slow and interesting to them. And
Oh, I love this. You have it the same way as me. I'm like, your second and third fingers are best friends. I love how you use the exact
oh
same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, they sometimes go to the movies, you know, they're best friends, but nobody
Yeah.
likes this first one. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
yeah, yeah. That's what I say too. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. And I like,
Yeah.
and what I say is, okay, now they've had a fight. So now the best friend, second finger is now best friends with first finger.
Yeah, you know, you have to make a story. Children
Yeah.
will get it like this if they have a story in their head. So, you know, I start with the pizzicato nursery rhymes. Then we start independently, left and right arm. First, we put fingers on left hand fingers. Then we have some games with the stick, and then with the bow on open strings. After that, we combine them, left
So
and
it's
right hand.
focusing on two things, but still
Yeah.
interactive where it's not that boring. It's like, oh, okay, I'm just playing this. But I like how you already incorporate rhythm straight away. And that's what I do as well. You know, I
Mm,
change, I
of
put different
course.
rhythms
You
where it
know,
makes
it would
things
be
interesting
boring
and
for
fun.
them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, it
Okay,
would be
so
boring.
if you guys want to look into it, because we can talk about the book forever and ever and ever. So
Yeah,
that's book one. If you guys want to see the index, I'm sure that's on her
yeah, yeah.
website. Now let's look into your book two.
Book two. So,
Yeah,
there are three books, you know, which cover all the strings, all the bowings on the string, and all left hand finger patterns,
for book
you
two.
know, so, 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay.
After that, you know, we start with positions, with virtuoso bowings and something like that. But these three books cover all these
The
basic things.
basics.
Yeah. And it is, you know, gradually formed and divided into three books. So book one is mostly about setting up the instrument, the bow, a little bit of
The foundation. So
theory,
it's
the
like the
foundations,
root
right?
part of
Right,
everything.
right. The second book is all about different left-hand finger patterns and some other bowings. I can show you something. Let me just open it. So it is, we started with the minor finger pattern, you know, when first and second fingers are together.
The best friends is changing.
Best friend, yeah, the first one became popular. My computer is a little slow, sorry, but it will open it. And we have marcato bowing, martelé bowing, and later in book 3 we have also staccato, some beginnings of the staccato, because I think you have to, if you start early enough with virtuoso things, it will never be hard
That's right. That's right.
if you start on time. So here it is. Let me share it with you. Book 2. Can you see it now? Yeah. So don't you like these pictures? They're cute,
I know,
right?
it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
So
good
here
one.
it is, low second finger, first and
Yeah.
second, best friends. So we always have some exercises for this problem that we are working about, some songs, some etudes. We always have scales. I think scales are really important, and my students don't ask me what will I play when they come to lesson. They just start with the scale,
Yes,
and
so when they know how it works, it's very easy. Like
yeah,
with my theory books, with the best friends and stuff.
yeah. So a little bit of rhythm,
Oh, okay.
low fourth finger. So basically all the finger patterns. I also start pretty early with double stops. I think it's important because not only for development of the intonation, but also it forms the left hand really nice, and sixth and sixth, okay, not thirds, but sixth are not that hard. Thirds are a little bit heavier, but if you start early enough, it will be easy.
Of course, so anything you start early, of course, is very helpful.
Yeah, yeah. So that's book 2, and basically in book 3, we also have some through the scales. We also have some
So
string
here's a
crossing.
question I know people ask. So with each book, how long usually would a teacher spend on one book? Let's say book one, how long would they spend on book one?
Well, of course, it depends on your student. Some students of mine finish book 1 in 5 or 6 months. Some will need 1 whole year. That's the beauty of individual lessons, you know. So I think it's important to follow a student's tempo of learning.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And now, like with your books, because you also had the viola version, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, the way that I design my books is you can use it together at the same time with my theory
Mm-hmm.
books. So you can use violin, viola, cello, and double bass all in the same
Mm.
book. For your books with the violin and the viola, for a teacher that wants to do group teaching, can they use both the violin and viola in the same group, or do you need to split them up?
Well, no, because they are designed for a completely different school system, you know. Uh, my books are designed especially for individual lessons. So you can't, I mean, you can have a student, violin student and viola student, they can have each book 1, violin and viola book 1, and do same things, but yeah, they can play together, but it's not designed for group lessons
Okay,
or
so
for
let's say a
chamber
teacher wants
music.
to do just violin group. That's not designed for a violin group lesson, you would say.
It could be used for group, yes,
Okay, but just not
but
the violin viola
students of
together.
the no,
Okay.
yeah, just for students of the same level and same instrument, and
Okay.
not too many of them, hopefully.
Yeah, always, always. Like the less students you have in a group, the easier it is to work on each
Yeah, yeah,
individual, especially with the shape and all that.
yes,
So
of
yeah.
course, yeah, yeah.
All right.
But
So
I think it's also one of the advantages of these books. When you do have group lessons, children will like these books. They are colorful, they are appealing, so they will practice.
yeah, I know, I completely get
You
it. It's
know
like,
that,
yes,
yeah.
when they like the books a lot, they start doing the work even before you say anything. They would do a few pages in advance because they love it
Yeah,
so much.
yeah, of course. But I started as a young teacher after I graduated from the academy. I was at a place that I didn't remember what I was playing when I was a child, and I felt that I haven't been taught enough at the academy about pedagogy. So I started learning and experimenting and exploring. I read about many methods. I got many books, methods, renowned methods, and explored them. And then I found some way, of course. First of all, for me, I was doing at the beginning everything to make it easier for me. Uh, but first of all, it was meant to be for a Croatian school system, so with lots of Croatian folk songs and children's songs, because I like this approach where children can play something that they already know, not to put Tchaikovsky at the beginning or Beethoven,
Yeah, the thing is, if you have too many new information that comes in, they get very confused.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I like what you said in terms of, even though after you graduate with your studies on the instrument, you still continue to look at other teaching methods and things like that, because that was the same
Oh,
for
I
me.
think I just started then. I really feel that I just started then.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like for myself, I learned very quickly. So teaching for me was quite interesting because I didn't go through the same challenges my students went through. So like yourself, it was a lot of experimenting as well, but it's trying to see what is out there. So like, like your pizzicato method, the Suzuki method, whatever is out there as well. And then it's like you said, it's putting everything together, but neatly and nicely that it works for your students in itself.
Yeah.
So, if you teachers out there want to include Pizzicato method as part of your library, I love having a music library when I can. And it's
Me
nice to
too.
just pick something out and then go, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I think this book is suitable for this child, or oh, I think this other method will be suitable for the other
Exactly.
child.
Exactly. That's exactly what I do. No matter I wrote those books and also this for Croatian music schools, but I change books for different students. First of all, because of the student, and second of all, because of me. I also want to refresh something from time to time.
True.
So
The thing
there
is,
are so many.
students don't learn the same way, right? And you would
Of
know that
course,
too.
yeah,
So maybe one book would be suitable for one child. And although
yeah,
you want all your students to use that same book, maybe
yeah,
they're suitable for another book or another method to help them.
yeah.
So
Of course,
it's
but
experimenting.
it's something that also keeps me fresh because it's the most easy thing in the world that you put your book on your stand and just flip it, and you don't have to think about anymore. But there are so many great methods. Like, for example, I really adore this method. I think it's the best in the world, Hungarian violin method, and also some French methods. Some, I'm talking about European method books because we are pretty similar with this individual lessons and school system. In Australia, in USA, it's completely different system. So when we use books from, for example, United States, or maybe Suzuki method, we can use just one song that is adequate for this moment for the student, but the whole method is not very applicable for our school. So I'm talking now about European methods. This is also something that I always mention to my students and young trainees. When you start working, you are full of enthusiasm and full of ideas and want to try everything, like I was. I'm starting for myself, and you make a lot of mistakes in this experimentation, which is fine. No, no good exploration. Some of the best explorations are made by accident.
Yes,
But
definitely.
this is something that I find most important, and I tell them there are so many wonderful method books. You don't have to use mine. You don't have to use this. You don't have, but find some method that you like, and keep it from the beginning to the end, because it is shaped to do all the important elements, whether it will be this way or that way, but everything will be covered. So keep it from the beginning till the end. Don't mix until you have some experience.
Yes, no, that's absolutely right. I love your advice on that. With, unless you are familiar with all the things that you have,
Yeah,
then at least you know what to do. But what I want
yeah,
to say, because both of us are authors ourselves, is, I have a lot of teachers that say, oh my gosh, I love your books. But I would advise not to photocopy.
I love your books also.
Thank you. Thank you. I would advise not to photocopy and give your kids like single pages here and there,
Yeah,
because the way that both of us have designed our books, it's very student friendly. If imagine giving your student a piece of paper compared to a very nicely designed book, it also plays a part, because I think, like, for myself, I would rather get a very nice book compared to all these loose sheets, because they tend to
yeah,
lose it as well. And with
yeah,
that,
yeah,
it also supports us as authors, because we have to pay for, to register our barcodes and things like that. There's a lot of costs
yeah.
that we have to cover in that sense. And I know the teachers have come to me, they're like, oh, Lorraine, can you create more books? The thing is, if all of you teachers photocopy all my books, then I'm not going to have all the finances to pay for the extra books
Yes.
itself.
Well,
So it's
I have some funny situations since I have master classes with students. Um, Sometimes they come to my master class and they say, "Oh, we like your books very much. We work with your books," and then they put on the stand a photocopy, But what can I say? I'm honored, and I
I
always
know,
thank
in a
them
way, in a way.
yeah, to
Yeah,
use my books to but also I can't get mad with them because financial situation is not very
it is, but it's like an
good.
artist's
So
industry, it supports people like us to create more
yeah,
resources so that you guys can have them as well. But it's good to have your own library, because I find that sometimes
of
you may
course.
forget that the book is there, and then when you browse through your own library, you're like, oh, I forgot that I have this book. But the
Yeah,
thing is, you're not buying it and giving it to your student. Your students are paying for the books. So it's good if they have their own hard copy. It's like when your students have a phone, would they rather have a copied iPhone or an actual iPhone, right? So that's what I always explain it that way. Do they want a genuine iPhone, or do they want a fake iPhone? And it's
yeah,
the same with books. Like, it makes a lot of difference, and you'll be surprised. Like, if you try giving one student for just photocopies and giving a student an actual book, the energy that students have with the
yeah,
actual book is very
exactly.
different
Yeah,
from if they actually work from a photocopy in itself. So you can try it out. It's always trial and error. But yeah, if you guys are interested in in looking into Ines's books, by all means, order a set, so that at least you got an idea of what to expect out of it. If you want to try with your students, you can get your students to buy it. Like I said, you don't have to buy two and just give it away for free. You can get your students to always buy it themselves. All right, Ines, your books, are they both Americanized, and can it be used in any terminologies? Because I know there's the American way, and there's the British way, or the European way.
this is the American way.
Oh, it is the American way.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a problem because it's not a very big part of the books. If you use some other terms, just cross it and write what you
And
use.
change.
Yeah, and change.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the knowledge is all the same thing. It's more of how you label
No,
it, isn't it?
music notes are music notes.
Yeah,
Music is music.
absolutely, absolutely. All right. Anything else you want to share in terms of your books? Like, what's the best feature that you would say? If you could
Well,
just pick one, what is the best feature of each book?
best feature of each book. Let me see. I think book one is. I think it's great. This setup process. I think it's something different that you can't find in some other methods, as far as I know. And it really gave me some great results through my career. So I think it's worth right, this approach in setting up an instrument. In books 2 and 3, I also like this that I covered these basic technical elements, but also some lovely songs, children's songs, and some excerpts from music literature that introduce children also to musical elements, like dynamics, like imagination, and everything that we actually work this for.
Yeah, I like how you introduce it very quickly into your book too, because usually those things are introduced later rather than earlier.
Why wait? Why
Yeah,
wait for the music?
yeah, true.
We started
Um,
lesson 2. I know this year I have after some 4 years. Now I have beginning students again. And yesterday, yesterday, a student came to me and we played a little duet. She was playing open strings and pizzicato, and I was playing pizzicato with fingers, some song. And her dad came to the lesson for the first time, and he was like this. It was a concert. We had a concert. It was a
oh, that's
music
amazing.
piece. Why wait?
Yeah, that's it. Now, there was something I want to ask is the age range. Your books, what would you recommend in terms of the age groups of students?
Age group. Well, I think it's suitable for 5 to, let's say, 10 years. Because of the illustrations, and this pedagogical approach. But I did have some older students. I had, at the beginning, it was a little funny for them to play nursery rhymes. They had a girl, I think she was 14. It was a little funny for her to play nursery rhymes, but then she got used to this approach that she needs to go through every stage, not to skip any stage of the process of the setting up. And it was really quick for her, because she was free from some other thoughts. She was just going through step by step through stages.
I think it's
So
more of
yeah,
that's the recommendation, right? From age 5 to 10.
five
But I
to
guess
ten, I would say. Yeah.
it's the teacher's own intuition in terms of there are some kids that are very mature for age 4. So there's a possibility of studying like a little bit younger or a little bit older, depending, isn't it?
Why not? But you have to adjust then your approach to younger child, because we start with writing, writing music notes. Then you have to skip this stage, and I would start with 5.
Okay.
Stick with the Suzuki or Lorraine or somebody else if you have younger students.
Yeah, but it's more of understanding the student as well, because like my book series, I've got one that's the mini series for kids that
Yeah.
are still learning how to write and read,
Hmm?
still understanding the alphabets and the numbers. So it's more of understanding your students, because I have come across older kids that are also still struggling with writing
Yeah.
and reading themselves. So it's more of, you as a teacher, if you think 5 is still too young, then you can move up to a little bit older, probably 6 or 7 to start with, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, Ines,
Yeah.
any other advice while we have you on?
Advice.
So
Have fun.
young teachers,
Have
young fresh
fun with
grads.
your students. Have fun with yourself as a teacher, and then your students will also have fun. And it is very important for your progress. But not to be a slave of having fun. Today the children, everything has to be sparkly and shiny and no, it doesn't have to be. But when you genuinely feel your student and understand your student and make something enjoyable and pleasurable while doing this, lifting up one finger, everything will be easier and everything will lead to some other stage, new stage.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you, Ines, for coming and sharing your Pizzicato method.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's really amazing to see, you know, another fellow author that has quite similarities in that sense. But that's the thing about teaching method is it all kind of intertwines
Yeah.
with each other. It's not
Yeah,
just one
yeah,
way
yeah.
and that's the only
Yeah.
way. We all have similar ideas, but we kind of fuse them together. And
Yeah,
that's
of
how
course.
music is, you know, with different genres and different styles. It's all the same, but it's just the way that we approach them is a little bit different in a sense.
Yeah.
Now, Ines, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, I will get some details from you, and at the end, they can reach out to you personally. Now, for those people that want to get hold of your books, I'm assuming